Welcome to the Terrible Take, a mini podcast telling Steelers Nation what's on our minds. I'm Joe Clark. While I do think he's going to be an asset for the Steelers on the field as a slot cornerback and somebody who can also play outside if needed, I don't love the team bringing in cornerback Cameron Sutton, particularly with the comments he made after his first OTA practice on Wednesday when addressing the media. I respect that the Steelers are familiar with Sutton, and I hope that bringing him back to a familiar environment in Pittsburgh with Mike Tomlin will work out. But Sutton, who is subject to NFL discipline for a domestic violence incident in Florida that happened in March, didn't properly handle the situation, in my opinion, when addressing with the media. Sutton entered a pretrial diversion program in April with his charge being reduced to a misdemeanor, but entering the program does make him subject to suspension, likely 6+ games by the NFL. When addressing the media, he said he couldn't talk about the case. Just all well and good. He's still going through the legal process. Can't talk about it. But he did talk about his situation, and, he used words like adversity, and he said he's not worried about a narrative. I mean, that's fine. Sutton doesn't have to pay attention to people around him and what they say and what people are saying about him or about the situation. But calling his situation, adversity, and it almost sounded like he was downplaying what happened a little bit and talking about putting his best foot forward. And it just doesn't really sit right with me. The details of what Sutton did aren't a pleasant read. He bit his girlfriend in the neck. He strangled her to the point where she briefly lost consciousness. There's nothing good to say about the situation, and Sutton shouldn't really have even addressed, any lingering feelings or thoughts. He should have left it at no comment when being asked by the media about what happened, just keeping it to, what's going on the field. And even though that might have annoyed some people that he's not talking about it, it's better to not talk about it than give the answers that he gave that really just were not a good look for him, and makes it not a good look for the Steelers organization that they decided to bring him in when, at least in that public setting, he didn't really seem to show, at least not remorse necessarily, but he didn't really seem to almost recognize the severity of the situation, how it looks to go out and say that, oh, I'm just dealing with adversity. I wish the best for Sutton. The incident was seemingly out of character for him. He spent 6 years in Pittsburgh and was in Tennessee too. Is reportedly a high character guy, this whole time there. So maybe it was a little bit out of character, and I hope being in Pittsburgh does help him figure things out, and maybe he can turn a corner and learn from this. But his media session was a lesson in bad PR. It's certainly not going to make Sutton any more likable to fans who are already leery of bringing him in, and it's just, we'll see how it works out. The questions are only going to get harder, especially if the NFL comes down. And it could be a 6-game suspension, which might be one of the reasons why the team brought in Graylin Arnold. It's another option in the slot. It's gonna be interesting, and maybe not in a fun way. Be sure to follow us at SteelersDepot.com and check out episodes of The Terrible Take every day at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And check out The Terrible Podcast with Alex Kazor and Dave Bryan every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Go Steelers.